On the 26th of December 2023, a passenger fell onto the tracks of the Jubilee Line Stratford station on the London Underground, where he proceeded to be run over by 4 separate trains before being noticed. Join us as we examine CCTV images of the last moments before impact and investigate how 5 train operators on 4 trains and numerous station staff on the platform did not see a body on the tracks. Before we continue, can you please take the time to like and subscribe to support my real life horror channel? Thank you. Stratford Station is an above ground terminus whereby trains approach from the west, controlled automatically at 30 miles an hour and berth all the way over to the east end of the track. The station consists of 3 platforms, 13, 14 and 15, which are all used periodically dependent on the time of the day. Stratford Station uses a process known as stepping back. This is when a train arrives, there is already a train operator waiting to take the train back out in the opposite direction. The current train operator will then wait at Stratford Station in readiness for the next train. It is very important to know that this process was not being used on this fateful day, resulting in most train operators coming to the end of their shift when approaching the station. At 12:54 PM, Brian Mitchell, a 72-year-old male, who originally was from Edinburgh, had been out socialising in London with friends, entered the London Underground at 12:54 PM at Stanmore Station and boarded an eastbound train to Stratford Station. The train arrived at 1:55 PM on platform 13. On arrival, he got off the train and sat on a bench on the west side on the platform. This CCTV still camera footage that you can see shows him sat with a bag directly on the floor in front of him. Over the next 48 minutes, he remained seated, in which 4 trains arrived and departed. Suddenly, just after 2:44 PM, Brian decided to stand up and unexpectedly stumbled forward, falling onto the track below. The CCTV image you can see shows Brian on the track. He attempted to sit up and tried to get back onto the platform. However, his attempt failed and laid back down onto the tracks. Disturbingly, nobody had noticed the fall, and Brian lay motionless on a live track at the station. Sadly, over the next 30 minutes, 4 trains arrived and departed on platform 13, with 6 train operators exiting and entering the trains, all running over the helpless Brian in the process. Train operator 1, who had just exited train 1, noticed the bag and after a quick search handed it in to lost property. But both train operator 1 and operator 2, who had now boarded the train and was ready to depart, did not hear or see anything on the tracks. At 2:56 PM, train 2 entered platform 13 and at 15:02 exited the platform, with again train operator 3 and 4 not seeing anything. At 3:05 PM, train 3 arrived at platform 13, stopped in its normal position, and train operator 5, who had been in the cab, was scheduled to actually drive the same train back out of the station, went for a small break. On break, he notified the Jubilee Line control room that he believed he had seen an inflatable doll on the track. After looking near the track and also on CCTV cameras by the customer service manager in the control room, nothing was seen, and at 15:14 PM, train 3 was given the okay to depart. Once gone, the customer service manager radioed this information onto the customer service supervisor, who in turn radioed this information to the customer service assistant working on Stratford Station, who then went to inspect the track with the train now gone. In a complete shock, the assistant found a body on the far side of the track and radioed up the chain of command. Unbelievably, at the same time this was going on, a fourth train was allowed to enter the track and stop on platform 13. The RAIB, on arrival, had a lot of questions to answer. The focus of the investigation initially looked at the passenger. The post-mortem toxicology report found that astonishingly, his blood alcohol level was at 272 milligrams, which is nearly 3 times the drink-drive limit of 80. CCTV images show that he did not appear to slip, and the surface was found to be dry and clean. It appears that he stood up and immediately fell forward. Due to the absence of any passengers in the vicinity of the platform, the RAIB conducted a magnitude of tests to see if it was possible for anyone to have seen the passenger on the tracks. The images show that despite being able to be seen on the track, visibility by other passengers on the platform and in the train opposite was very difficult. The RAIB tried to understand why the drivers on the first 2 trains didn't see any person on the track from their cabs. One reason that particularly stood out was the use of the Underground's automatic train operation, which controls the train's speed and stops automatically for the driver. This repetitive nature could easily reduce the train operator's attention and focus, especially when it was coming to the end of the driver's shift. The RAIB also noticed that as a train approached platform 13, the replacement operator driver is on the platform waiting to take over. This again could easily have distracted the operator who was in the cab. The last puzzling aspect was why didn't the customer service assistant or the train operator in train 4's cab attempt to stop train 4 from entering platform 13 and running over Brian for a 4th time? After speaking to the train operator, he unbelievably admitted they had seen a person on the track but had froze in panic and did not apply the emergency brakes or even sound the train's horn. When looking at the guidelines for how an assistant should react to a person on the track, the Rulebook 7, titled Train Incidents and Safety Equipment, is very clear. Every attempt should be made to stop the train by waving hands or putting both hands above the head to signal an immediate emergency stop. Unfortunately, neither was done. After interviewing the assistant, they explained that after seeing the person on the track, they immediately went to the radio and didn't see the incoming train. The assistant also said that they did not want to look back at the track to see the body due to being in complete shock. Wherever you think the fault lies with the intoxicated passenger, the slow, ineffective reaction of the staff that day, or the many complicated systems in place on the cab and the underground network, a number of lives were changed that day and many lessons were learnt. Please can you comment below on your opinion of the events, and thanks for watching my real life horror channel. Thank you.